And Tovela. I am Tapelo Tshiamo Leslie Moloto, and I would like to take this moment to welcome you to Tshiamo Blend. Hello, and we come back, eh? We back. It's another fantastic episode with me, Tshiamo Blend. Yeah, as we go about it, today's headliner episode is called Future-Proofed or Fenced Out Tech Companies and South African Regulations. So now we are taking a deep dive in the world of technology, as per usual, because we do know it's affecting our lives, and every day we have it. And I know you're listening to me with some technical device. All right. Now we're going to focus on 10 leading technology companies that, despite that global impact, cannot fully operate in South Africa. Why is that? Well, we'll be exploring their innovations, what makes them valuable, and why regulations, infrastructures, and other factors stand in the way of them coming into South Africa. Look, the top 10 we are going in through here today is the ones I think, in my opinion, are my top 10. I don't want you to judge or say much, but hey, if you want to say other technologies you think I may have not covered, you could leave a comment there, but make sure you like and subscribe, please. Yeah. Right, for number 10, we got 23andMe, which is a health slash genetics company whereby it's co-founded by Anna Wijewski. Okay, the company provides genetic testing services to help people understand their ancestry and health risks. Meaning, it's a way for you to it's a health kit whereby you buy it, they give it to you, or deliver it hand to your door, and then you use your saliva to be able to do your health ancestry testing, whereby you can see where your lineage goes down to. Because have you ever seen on YouTube whereby people always say, I tested and I'm 20, let's say I'm 5% black and all that. Or it says that my ancestry goes all the way down to Malawi. You see. And what I also like, it also helps you to check your health risk, meaning you can also see based on your DNA not DNA, and what they found within that sample is what type of health risk that you might face. Yeah, 23andMe, that's a company, guys. It's not me who came up with that. Now, the disadvantages about it, let's start with the advantages, is that it could help improve personalized healthcare by helping South Africans understand their genetic lines, and also the type of diseases that they might find within the genetic line of their families, you see. Or just get to know your ancestry. Now, one of the things that are blocking it, which I might say the disadvantage or the regulations, is that, however, South Africa has strict rules around the collection and storage of genetic data, also including the POPI Act. You do remember POPI Act, like Protection of Personal Information Act, which would require 23andMe to make significant adjustments to comply with privacy regulations, which in my understanding, it is a good idea, because if we look at it, if somehow people were able to hack within to this company here in SA, it will be easy for someone to assassinate you, because I know your diseases which you have, and I know things which you are allergic to. So it makes it easy for me to just say papa here and there. That's just my opinion on that. All right, now number 9, which is Cruise, self-driving cars of General Motors. Yeah, Cruise, not like a cruise ship, but it's literally a company called Cruise, which is literally a subsidiary of General Motors that literally focuses on autonomous vehicles. When we say autonomous, we mean things like your self-driving. When we say automatic, literally everything is automatic. Like, it will make driving much more easier, faster, more efficient, also more cleaner, because every morning we have noticed how traffic starts to stumble. There'll be people just stuck. You'd think maybe there's someone blocking far in the end, when you get through it, there was nothing. It's just that, I don't know, man. We are people. We also make mistakes. No one is perfect, I guess. So that would be an advantage, that if everything is autonomous, that means every lane would be able to cruise through, because it's literally being driven by a computer that knows every single vehicle around it, and most importantly the road rules and what's in front of it, what's behind it, and your destination. Now, a disadvantage to this would be that we are people. We are the ones who program these machines. So, I mean, there might be some flaws. There might be some mistakes here and there. Let's be honest. There's nothing perfect to it. It might be working in other countries, but everything has a disadvantage. Everything has some flaws to it. And one other thing you gotta notice is that we have a regulatory challenge within the Department of Transport, which would need to address gaps in road safety regulations before allowing self-driving cars to be deployed on a large scale. Because we do know that there'll always be someone who acts like they know the rules. Even if the self-driving car knows that, no, I'm doing the right thing, there'll always be someone who says, I know better. And now, yeah, sometimes it's a computer, it might malfunction. We've all seen or heard people always saying, my car is malfunctioning here and there, the audio was not working all of a sudden, but then later on, after 10 minutes, everything went back to normal. You see? Another one on the autonomous way we are looking at on number 8 is Waymo. Yep, these companies are weird. I just like calling them out, but yeah, it's Waymo, which is owned by Alphabet Inc. It's also one of the pioneers within the self-driving companies. Again, as I said, advantages and disadvantages. We are human, and Department of Transport will have to play a huge role in allowing these things. Okay. Another one within the healthcare sector this time around, number 7. Jersey number 7. Oh, yes, is that we have Zipline, funded by Kellernath. Zipline uses drones to deliver medical supplies to remote areas, including blood and vaccines. One key advantage about the services is it literally revolutionized healthcare delivery to rural areas where medical access is limited. And also, one thing you also have to remember is that sometimes it may be because also areas in that is that vehicles cannot reach it, or but fuel costs and having to rent out vehicles to reach those areas, there's also additional cost. So now just using drones to deliver them straight to that location makes it easier, quicker, and faster. So now that will be a great thing to reach different parts of the world, and also here in South Africa. Now the disadvantage to it is that these are drones. Yes, they'll be monitored, controlled by someone at HQ or from the zipline companies. The problem is not all of us trust whatever is flying. So someone might just throw stones on it and make it fall, but it's being realistic. Those things happen. People might just start throwing drones and start doing things just to see what is it that it's being delivered. You see? And when it comes to the regulatory challenges, is that the South African Civil Aviation Authority has strict restrictions on drone flights making widespread operations. So this makes difficulty for a company like Zipline to be able to operate fully here in South Africa. And we all know that when making things like your medical deliveries are time sensitive, and they have to work in a specific timeline and delivery plan. So now such a thing cannot just be operating as it wants here in our country and fly everywhere just saying we are delivering medical supplies, because anything can happen. Anyone who can just may stick in it for another type of packaging or delivery. So such a thing would need for Zipline to have more regulatory flexibility and to be able to operate within the South African Civil Aviation Authority to be able to allow for them to work faster and more efficient routes. But hey, anything can happen. So now moving on to number 6. As we say, this one is our private not just aviation but astrospace. Astro, aerospace, yeah, aerospace. That's where we're going with number six as SpaceX launch services. Yes, SpaceX had to put it in there by Elon Musk. Well, it focuses on space exploration and satellite launches. It's kind of awesome because its advantage would be able to send cargo to the ISS and aims to colonize Mars. Well, this part could put us on the space exploration map and support in scientific research here in SA. That's our advantage to it. But if we are being realistic, we already have our own space exploratory research here in South Africa. So we wouldn't allow a private entity to just be operating here saying they're doing the same thing as us because we already have enough problems with our own thing. Yeah, as I said, this is my opinion. Don't use it against me. It's my opinion. And you can do further research on different things I speak of. So anyway, now in terms of the regulatory challenges, is that however launching rockets in small amount fit in South Africans wouldn't be literally something that would put in our scope in terms of our infrastructure and our regulatory framework to support such activities. So the South African Space Council would need to heavily invest in the infrastructure, and SpaceX would need launch approvals because yes, we already have our own space council. Why would you always be going out there launching and launching? Next thing you'll be telling us our CO2 emissions are too much. We are destroying the zone layer. 1, 2, 3, load shedding, blah, 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 back to square one. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We don't want that, hey? Sorry. Now to number 5. Again with Elon Musk, Tesla, which goes back to, as we said, self-driving machines. And funny enough, I literally did saw a Tesla 2 weeks back at Waterfall. It's a nice car. The only disadvantage with Tesla, if we're being honest, is that it literally needs charging points. And in South Africa, there are not really a lot of charging points. Last time I checked, there's one in Gauteng, one I saw in Free State, and I'm not also in Cape Town, which is in the Western Cape. So I'm not really sure how many charging points are there out there. So now having to have such a card will mean already as a country, it will be advantageous because it saves fuel and it uses charging ports to charge. But let's just be realistic in terms of the disadvantage is that we are always crying about load shedding. We are always crying about this in terms of electricity, crying about fuel prices. Adding Tesla would be an advantage, also a disadvantage. That's why most of the time people say hybrid cars are better here in SA because if you are being realistic, that's true. If you put on fuel as you're using the car, it uses the battery, and some of them allows the fuel to charge up their battery. Such beautiful cars we got out there. So now in terms of the disadvantage is that how many places would need to add additional charging ports. Yeah, charging ports would be literally having a fuel station and a charging port. That's great. Like a charging station, I mean. Have a fuel station and a charging station. That's nice if you think about it. So now, in terms of it, we have a certain type of infrastructure lacking in this. Because we don't have a large number of self-efficient cars whereby they're only using electricity and not fossil fuels. So that's one of the disadvantages of that. So meaning that the government will need to add more efficiency initiatives for green tech and expand on EVs infrastructure as a whole. So that's one of the disadvantages in terms of it and the regulatory challenges we might face. Now going on to number 4. Uber Air, flying taxis as they call it. Like think about it, I put it at number 4 because of one thing. Uber is already there, and since they introduced the concept of being able to get a flying taxi, because in some countries you can literally use Uber to just instead of getting a taxi ride or like a normal ride, but in this case you're getting a private jet. Just imagine You don't have to own a private jet or go to rent it. Just go to Uber and then get a private jet for the day. Post on the Instagram. We all know people like to brag. Post everywhere. Fly. But at the same time, I feel like it will be too much cost because you're there on your own in there. Unless you just got your friends there doing a live, going crazy. And most importantly, it literally reduces you the hassle of having to book a ticket and to wait in line there at the airport because you just go on your app, ding, 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 you got a plane and then off you go. Off you go, man. Don't just travel within South Africa, you travel also outside of South Africa. That's dope. Like, that's a literally game changer what they came up with. Shout out to Uber on that. Now, in terms of the disadvantage, is that let's be realistic. We don't have a lot of airports operating right now. And if we were to have such a service here in South Africa, it would be that there would have to be a lot of number of people who have their own jets, planes, or helicopters, which would be awesome. But also, you have to remember that you cannot just land anywhere in South Africa. You have to follow a strict line whereby the South African Civil Aviation Authority has different laws in terms of your air mobility and places of traffic. Just like here on the ground, we have different laws to obey by the rules with the traffic department. We also have laws and rules to obey high in the sky. Must get high on knowledge. Know that. So those are one of the significant challenges it might face. And also do note that if we're being honest, I don't think we would be ready for such. Because already we have different things that we are struggling with, which are basic. I'm just being honest on that. Now, number 3, Amazon Prime Air. Again, we are back to deliveries using drones. We all know the tech e-commerce giant called Amazon. Yes, which was founded by Jeff Bezos. Yep. They came up with something big and it's being used. And we all know now it's operating here in SA. So imagine it like this. Now they are in parts of the world, they are even using drones to deliver packages. As I say, it is awesome. You can get your package within 30 minutes or less, avoiding traffic, the hassle of waiting, hassle of making sure the courier got in on time. You know that within 30 minutes, my drone is coming, just going to drop it outside. Then just go out on your porch and call out your box and start unboxing for us. You see? It is a nice thing and it's a nice ring to it, but already with deliveries and stuff, it's not something that can just happen because we know if you see a package flying and I see written Amazon, someone is going to throw a throne. Someone is going to throw a stone, not a throne. Someone is just literally going to throw a stone. But all that last week. Oh, yango iwisa fatsha bona re di dzam. Re bone my kicking a grady page re ise one nyana retse. Which is the reality. Our crime rate is bad. Those things are going to happen already. I don't know how many times we have to be realistic, but it's the reality we are in. So now again, with the South African Civil Aviation Authority, it will also have to add strict rules, infrastructure operations, and how Amazon could use this to their advantage and be able to do delivery routes on a large scale operation. But we know it's not something that can just happen. Yes, it can help people live within rural areas whereby they are far from shops, far from different drop-off points, or deliveries cannot make it to their hometowns based off the roads or based off the location, terrains, the weather and all that. It would be nice that they just get them dropped. You see? But you always have to be realistic. If you cannot fix the basic things, how can you start aiming high? As they say, start with the small things, then you make your way up. Hey. Number 2. This one, when I was finding about it, I was shocked. Google Fiber, which doesn't have a You'll see when you see the spelling and everything. Look at it. Just look at that spelling. Google Fiber or Fiber. I always make a mistake of calling it Fiber, and it's Google Fiber. It's another service provided by Google, whereby it's literally providing ultra-fast internet service by Google. So now this tech thing, all the way from the tech giant, already it has an advantage in other countries, but already here in SA we have our own telecommunications, which are also facing different regulations. So we cannot just bring in private entities to just come in and operate where we already have our own private entities, which are already expensive for us. So now imagine Google Fiber, which on its own will be charging in dollars and due to the currency exchange and all that. So now advantage of Google Fiber is that, look, imagine 100 times faster than your normal South African speed. It's literally a game changer for homes, businesses, even the rural education, because it's literally fast. It's fast. Not gonna lie, it's fast. But again, let's be realistic. We have regulations that people need to follow. Like in every country, we have literal terms and conditions. We have our in the business world. Let's be honest. Let's just be real. Now, if we're looking at it that way, ICASA already has telecommunication policies that companies like Vodacom, MTN are following. So that will mean Google Fiber will also have to follow. And remember, it has to remember that there are different competition here. So it also has to be the one that manages how Google Fiber will be able to operate within our competition mean and the different markets we have. Now, number one, obviously, it's also within the telecommunications. It has to be Starlink. Remember, it even made waves whereby it was on the news. People are asking about it, why we don't have it here in SA, what's happening. And again, ICASA, it's not stupid. It's being smart about this. Cannot just allow anyone to just come and operate within South Africa without following strict regulations and rules, which is true. We're being honest. It's the reality. Because what Starlink, what I like is that as we go back, remember SpaceX, Elon Musk, Starlink, Elon Musk, he's busy launching few things here and there, using SpaceX to launch his satellites. Now here comes what? Starlink. Starlink uses what? Those small satellites to bring in high-speed fiber internet. The same with Google Fiber. So those satellites they have out there, they're using them to give in high-speed internet. This thing is perfect for rural areas, for whereby people are facing connectivity challenges. Yes, it's true, but there are rules to follow. In every country, there are rules to follow. And we all know, you cannot just come in any country and just do as you please. We know that as South Africans very well. We had to fight a lot. That's in the history books. Anyway, so now it will mean that Starlink and your technologies like Google Fiber would have to follow strict regulations, and also remember that we have other telecommunication companies whereby they are doing things of giving us fiber and Wi-Fi with a certain amount, whereby we always complain data is expensive, let's be honest. And then also remember, these guys are private, they're also charging dollars. They would also have to somehow, some way meet our rand currency and our markets. So that's the gist of my top 10. So one thing I'm trying to say is that based on all these companies, they might be operating in other parts of Africa. Like Starlink, it's operating in Botswana. And I'm not sure, is it Kenya? But I know people, I saw a few videos whereby you could get it shipped in other parts of the world. It's even operating in Zimbabwe. As I say, whatever I say, you can always write on a comment and correct me. Like, I did my own research here, and some of the things I might find out they are right, but only to find out it might be outdated. These things happen. Time flies in the internet world. So one thing I wanted to say is that in the gist of it all these private companies, yes, they're big globally. Yes, they're creating huge impacts all around the world. But one thing we gotta note and always got to say is that every place has its own rules and regulations that need to be followed. And we all know that once everyone can access South Africa, it's their way to penetrate to Africa as a whole. Because, I'm just being honest, man. So I just hope you had a nice time learning a thing or two with me, Mr. Blend. Have a great day. Have a good evening. Have a good night. And as to you, all my listeners, I hope you know that technology has a good thing in shaping our future, but also we are the ones who are governed by it by also making sure we take control and not just let whatever's trending to just be added to us. Sometimes I know we always complain that these regulations are too much or what, but if you start sitting down, doing your research and analyzing everything, they are there for a reason. So everyone has to follow, whether we like it or not. It is what it is, and we have to always make the best of it. As I said, Mr. Tshiamo Blend, I'm signing out. Please don't forget to like and subscribe as per usual. I hope you had a great time with me in this podcast session. I'm out.